Start the Fire has many paragraphs. The first paragraph is birth control. The U.S. government approved the birth control pill in 1960. It was an easy way for the families to control their lives and be aware. As there were many who were for the birth control pill, there were also many who were against it. For example, the Catholic churches opposed it because it was against their religion. African Americans didn't like it because they thought the government was trying to reduce the black population. Some women didn't like the birth control pill because of its side effects. Side effects were nausea, weight gain, and depression and bloating.
I'm pregnant!
Birth control!
Oh, hey! Whoa! Hey, it worked! I'm not pregnant!
The second paragraph is about Ho Chi Minh. He was born in Vietnam in 1980. His father forced him to attend a French school for further struggles against the French. Ho Chi Minh was known to his lead role in the Vietnam War. He was the spiritual leader of the Vietnamese Communist regime. In 1975, Vietnamese Communist leaders renamed Saigon after Ho Chi in remembrance of the start of the revolutionary cause. This occurred once they were taken over by North Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh had many other allies for different time zones and places he experienced during his life. He used Ho Chi Minh to talk to the American Office of Strategic Services, OSS. Ho Chi Minh died in 1969. My last paragraph was about Moonshot. Moonshot was also known as the first successful mission to the moon. It was also called Apollo 11. The spacecraft landed on the moon in July of 1969. Its 3 passengers consisted of Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Edwin Aldrin. The space vehicle launched from the Kennedy Space Center at 9:37 a.m. It only took the vehicle 12 minutes to get into orbit of 120 miles above Earth. Then 4 days for the spacecraft to land on the moon. Neil Armstrong was the first man to ever step foot on the moon, and he said, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The space vehicle only spent 22 hours on the moon and left for Earth again on July 21st, 1969.
Hi, my name is Brian Lee, and I researched Woodstock, Watergate, punk rock, and Ronald Reagan. The first topic I researched was Woodstock. The Great Woodstock Fair was held in the year of 1969. This huge fair was mainly for music and was held in a city called Woodstock, New York. This festival attracted numerous amounts of people until the day of the festival. 450,000 people had arrived. The festival had created a huge traffic jam, causing the New York State Thruway to close. This event in history was mostly a social topic because this affected the communities of people in America, causing many to be drawn to Woodstock. Woodstock had also changed the way music is today, and the founders of the festival later became known as the Warner Brothers. The third topic I researched was punk rock. The start of punk rock is vague, but mostly started to rise in the 1960s and 70s. This was significant because the ideal song started a new trend for many people and changed their beliefs. This is social since it changed many people and communities by the ways this type of music affected them. The bands that mostly changed the way of rock was heard was the Ramones and the Talking Heads. This connects with current events because punk rock is now more popular. The final topic I researched is Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan began his term in 1981 and became the 40th President of the United States. Ronald Reagan was a political figure because as president he changed many ways of America. As Reagan was president, however, after 69 days of being elected in his first term, he was shot, but was quick to recover, gaining the people's popularity even more. During President Reagan's 2 terms, he believed in peace through strength and sought to improve relations with the Soviet Union.
Hello, I'm Drake Ilya, and my first paragraph is Palestine. And on the onset of the Cold War, on the late 1940s, quickly ended the big power corporation on which the post-war order had been posted. Nonetheless, in the early years, the UN became involved in 4 major security crises: the influence, development, and possibly in Palestine and Korea. Directly after Israel declared its independence in 1948, war broke out between it and its 4 neighbors, Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. Soon, therefore, a trade between Russia, Palestine, with weapons, vehicles, increased the terrorism range from Palestine and Israel. My last paragraph is Russians in Afghanistan. The Afghanistan government repeatedly requests that the introduction of the Soviet forces in Afghanistan in the spring and summer of 1978. They request Soviet troops to provide security and to assist in the fight against the Mujahideen rebels. On April 14, 1978, the Afghanistan government requested that the USSR send 15 to 20 helicopters with their crews to Afghanistan. And on June 16, the Soviet government responded and sent a detachment of tanks, PMPs, and crews to gun the government in Kabul and to secure the Begum and Shindal airfields. In response to this request, an airborne battle station commanded by Lieutenant Colonel A. Lookman arrived at Belgium Air Base on July 7th. They arrived without their combat gear and disguised as technical specialists. They were the personal bodyguards for the President Trocken. The paratroopers were detected near Afghanistan borders, and the Soviet military advised and did not interfere in Afghanistan politics.
Russia! Comrade!